Greetings, fellow adults who play a child's card game. Before I jump into this video, I'd like to encourage you to leave a comment telling me to grow up. Now, what we're doing here is playing a Rakdos, burn, and creature sacrifice kind of deck, based around Judith the Scourge Diva. Now, before I actually start explaining the deck, I would like to say that I'm going to be doing a series of Rakdos videos that are kind of built around the same, obviously the same colors, red and black, but also built around Judith the Scourge Diva, and I'm going to be doing a series of different decks that are kind of looking at different mechanics and trying to see which one is really the best, I guess. We're going to be doing some that are like more of an aggro deck, more of a mid-rangey deck, and this one is more of like a tricky kind of like sacrifice mechanic deck. Anyway, now that I've said that, let's actually talk about the deck. We're running, obviously, 4 copies of Judith the Scourge Diva, okay? She costs 3, and she's a 2/2. She gives other creatures I control +1/+0, and whenever a non-token creature I control dies, Judith Scourge Diva deals 1 damage to any target, okay? That's pretty good. That's pretty good when you have a lot of small creatures, you're giving them a +1, and then when they die, you can deal 1 damage to any target. So that helps with removal, that helps with getting rid of planeswalkers, and just dealing the last bit of damage that you need. We're going to be playing 2 Hired Poisoners, 2 Fanatical Firebrands, and 4 Footlight Fiends. We play 4 Footlight Fiend because when it dies, it deals 1 damage to any target, which is already kind of good because you're getting extra damage out of this 1 mana creature. But it is especially good coupled with Judith the Scourge Diva because she deals an extra damage whenever Footlight Fiend dies. We're also running 2 Reassembling Skeletons because we're going to be sacrificing a lot of creatures. We want a creature that's able to come back, right? Either we're going to be sacrificing Reassembling Skeleton or we're going to be chump blocking with him, and he's going to be a 2/1 every time he's on the field, and when he dies, we can deal a damage to any creature or any planeswalker or the player, and just keep letting him die and reassembling him over and over again. We're also going to be playing 4 Goblin Instigators. This is a solid card because it's a 1/1 body, and it creates another 1/1 Goblin token, but when this creature dies, we can deal a damage to another target, so that's good. And I'll explain a little bit more about that in a second, why we want to play Goblin Instigator over some other things. We're playing Fireblade Artist because it's a 2/2 with haste for 2, which is already good, and if we have Judith on the field, this is a 3/2 for 2, which is really excellent. And at the beginning of our upkeep, we may sacrifice a creature, and when we do, Fireblade Artist deals 2 damage to target opponent or planeswalker. In several of my games with this deck, this was kind of the deciding factor in the game. Before even going to attack phase, or at the beginning of my upkeep, I was able to sacrifice Footlight Fiend and deal 4 damage to the opponent because he's going to deal 2 damage, this is going to deal 1 damage, and then my Judith the Scourge Diva is also going to deal a damage. So that's basically, I'm dealing 4 damage by sacrificing a 1/1, and that's a really good thing that we can do whenever we need a little bit extra damage. We're also playing 2 copies of Plaguecrafter because it's a decent body, it's a 3/2, and it's a 4/2 with Judith on the field, but this allows us to sacrifice creatures and gives us pretty good removal, especially for decks that are going to be playing hexproof creatures like Nullhide Ferox or Carnage Tyrant. We also are playing 4 Skewer the Critics and 2 Bedevils just because we need extra removal. Really, the Skewer the Critics is for extra burn in the mid-game, and Bedevil is, we're playing this because we don't really have a whole lot of great options to deal with planeswalkers, and this says destroy target artifact, creature, or planeswalker. So that's what we do with it. We are also running 4 Vicious Offerings because it's nice early game removal to make sure the opponent's board stays fairly clean, and we can kick this by sacrificing a creature and deal with some bigger threats later on. We also play 2 Costly Plunder and 2 Bankrupt and Blood. Now, the thing about this is I could play 4 copies of one or the other, but I found that in some circumstances I felt like I wanted Bankrupt and Blood, and others I wanted Costly Plunder. Now, Bankrupt and Blood is 2 mana, and you sacrifice 2 creatures and draw 3 cards, which is, in this deck, is actually pretty efficient, because we're able to sacrifice small creatures or Reassembling Skeleton, that we're going to be able to get back, and we're drawing 3 cards, which refills our hand once we've filled up the board and then lost some creatures. So that's a really good card that we can use in the mid-game to make sure we have a full hand of creatures to play. The problem with this is that it can be countered after we sacrifice 2 creatures, and that's a huge loss if that happens. If we sacrifice 2 creatures and we're like, oh, we'll draw 3 cards, refill our hand, and be able to play some out, and this gets countered by a control, like if we're playing control deck or mono blue or something like that, this is a huge loss for us. And so that's also part of the reason we're running Costly Plunder, because it costs 2, we're only sacrificing 1 creature, and we're drawing 2 cards, and we can cast this at instant speed. So we can use this to draw cards on the opponent's turn. Maybe we're blocking a creature and we want to sacrifice our blocker. We can go ahead and draw 2 cards like that. So these are really our only card draw mechanics in this deck. And I will say I have run into a little bit of trouble not having a full hand. Now we also run 2 copies of Gruesome Menagerie, because everything in this deck is 3 mana or less. So we have 6 at the 3 mana slot, 8 in the 2 mana slot, and 8 in the 1 mana slot. So we're pretty much always going to be getting back our full suite of creatures. Sometimes we do have to cast this in desperation just to get back a 3 and a 2 or a 3 and a 1 or something like that. But really, opponents are going to be killing Judith the Scourge Diva pretty much immediately when she comes onto the field. Because of that, that's why we're playing Gruesome Menagerie, so we can get her back immediately and with some extras. That's the reason I was mentioning earlier why we're playing Goblin Instigator, is because this is going to create a 1/1 creature token, and then it can die, we can use it as a blocker, and then bring it back and create another 1/1 creature token. I've seen different versions of this deck playing Viashino Pyromancer instead of Goblin Instigator, but I like Goblin Instigator because the creature token gives us another source of damage, because that token, even though it doesn't deal damage when it dies, it does become a 2/1, and we can sacrifice it using Costly Plunder or something like that if we really need to. Now, I've talked a lot about this already. Let's go ahead and jump into some games. Game 1, here we go, against Nice Shoes the Ajani. Okay, so we go first, and we've got a decent hand here. We only have 2 lands, which is a bit of a bummer. But since we do have Fanatical Firebrand and Skewer the Critics and a Vicious Offering, we're kind of okay. We can hope to draw into a land by turn 3, and if not, we might still be okay just because we have some removal and we get some damage in early. So I'm going to keep this, and then we're going to immediately shock in the Blood Crypt to go ahead and deal damage to our opponent. And since we just took 2 damage, I'm really hoping this is not a aggro deck. Okay, so we're fine for now. I'm going to go ahead and attack, and then play Blood Crypt, tap, and then I'm just going to burn the opponent for 3. Make them have to gain life or protect themselves here, and that should give us a little bit of time to get our board set up. Nope, and we still did not draw land, which is a huge bummer. I was hoping we would have land by turn 3, but alas, no. May have been a bit greedy with that keep there. Okay, Chromatic Lantern with what looks like Abzan, so this is interesting. I don't know what we're playing against here. It's a bit scary. Okay, there is a swamp. Perfect. So we can now play Judith the Scourge Diva. Ooh, I could have probably... Maybe I should have gone ahead and Bedeviled right there to get rid of their Chromatic Lantern. I can do that later on if need be. I'm not quite sure what their Chromatic Lantern is really doing for them right now. Obviously, they're ramping up 1. So now they're at 5 mana. They're playing another Chromatic Lantern. So now that basically negates any reason that I had to play Bedevil, because they have 2. So let's go ahead and get another Fanatical Firebrand down. That Cry of the Carnarium really actually hurts us quite a bit because we didn't get the extra damage from our creatures dying because they were immediately exiled. So that's pretty lame. It looks like maybe Abzan like control, like they're trying to get to the late game. So we got Karn. Okay, I can kill Karn with the Bedevil here. This is artifacts, I guess. So he's just going straight for the tokens. Straight for the tokens, and it's going to be a 3/3. Very interesting. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and Plaguecrafter now. Get that construct out of the way. And I'm hoping that if they don't play another construct next turn, oh, they sacrificed their Karn, which is a very interesting choice. I'm assuming they have another one in their hand, or they wouldn't have done that. Interesting move, opponent. Okay, Thunderherd Migration. They are looking for dinosaurs. They're playing dinosaurs? Well, they got a land instead. Another Thunderherd Migration. I guess they're digging for a dino. Nope, they're doing a land. Oh, wait. It's as an additional cost, reveal a dinosaur card from your hand or pay 1. So they were just paying extra for that. That is very interesting. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attack and probably just Vicious Offering. If this blocks, which it does. Nope, we want to just cast that as a -2/-2. So our Plaguecrafter survives and we get rid of their token. More land, and there's the Eldest Reborn. That's kind of lame. Shouldn't slow us down too much because we're actually about to. Ooh, ahaha. I mean, either way, they both have the same effect next turn. But I'm gonna play. I'm gonna discard this one just in case I draw. Okay, cool. What we're gonna do. Let's see here. We have a Fanatical Firebrand and a Plaguecrafter in the graveyard because unfortunately our Judith got, she got exiled. So we're going to Gruesome Menagerie and bring them both back. And we're going to sack immediately. We're going to sack the Fanatical Firebrand and they're forced to sacrifice their Nicol Bolas. And then I have to discard my other Plaguecrafter, which is pretty lame. Cleansing Nova. Alright. So they're about to get their, oh geez, that's bad. They're about to get their, probably their Nicol Bolas or maybe their Karn back. But we can, we're going to go ahead and do this. Oh, wait, no, we don't want to do that because if they pull Nicol Bolas back, they're going to make us discard that card anyway. So we're going to pass. We're going to pass and wait to do that after they bring something back. Yep, Nicol Bolas comes back. And they can immediately make it a Planeswalker if they want to. They've got enough mana to do it. It looks like they're thinking about it. Okay, Kaya Orzhov Usurper. So that's unfortunate because now when I bring back my Plaguecrafter, they have an option of, oh well, there go both of them. Maybe I can return one before, yeah, I can return it to my hand before it gets exiled. And then, what else does he have? Nothing, just a land. Okay. I'm assuming that, oh, he still had enough mana for that. That's horrible. That's really terrible. So he's able to draw 2 cards immediately. Or put Karn back onto the field. This is a big ouch. Wow. Wow. I feel like Owen Wilson. Wow. Yeah, there's Karn again. Okay. Okay. And that's probably like just game, I think, at this point. They're able to draw 2 cards with Nicol Bolas, gain life with Kaya, make more tokens with Karn, and just beat me up. And I don't have anything right now. So if I play the Plaguecrafter, yeah, I think I'm done. I'm gonna go ahead and play this anyway. It goes to my graveyard, and they probably sacrifice their construct. And then Kaya is going to exile that from my graveyard this turn. So I can't get it back. Oh boy. So they're doing Super Friends. 5-color Super Friends is what it looks like. I mean, this one is the least powerful, so I'll give them Huatli Warrior Poet. I wouldn't say it's the least powerful, it's the least relevant right now.
You're not welcome here anymore.
Yep. That's bad. That's bad, folks. Okay, there's the warrior poet. Yeah, and we have no way to deal with this right now. Awesome. Hey, nice Skewer the Critics. Wait a second. Cancel. Yeah, I mean we can't deal with it. We can't deal with anything they have. I'm gonna go ahead and concede so y'all can actually I can have time to play more games, and we can see this deck in action. We saw it for a very brief moment there where things started looking like they were coming together, and they just whomped me. Okay, game number 2. Hopefully this one turns out better than the last. That is unfortunate. So we start with 3 mountains in our hand, and we gonna need a little better than that. So I'm gonna go ahead and mulligan that and hope. Yeah, okay. We pick up a slightly better hand. It's not amazing. We do get to start with a Blood Crypt, and then we can play Reassembling Skeleton or Goblin Instigator right after that. And another Swamp. I think I actually put that on the bottom because we can really easily flood out in this deck, and we do not want that. We don't want. Okay. I'm gonna play Goblin Instigator now because that means that equals more damage next turn, and then I'll probably play Reassembling Skeleton next turn. Johnny's welcome. Oh, jeez. Okay, so this is looking like, ooh, that's very interesting. Okay, so we can go ahead and play Judith now and start attacking pretty aggressively. Unfortunately, they have a lot of life gain mechanic, and if they play land here, they can probably Conclave Tribunal my Judith right now. They play another Johnny's Welcome, so they're just going to try to outpace me with a lot of life gain, and we have no way of dealing with these enchantments. Song of Frailes. That's not something you see very often these days. Actually, a very good saga in this kind of a deck. Yeah, because you can do a lot. You can do a lot with a little. I may play Reassembling Skeleton and then immediately sacrifice it to deal damage to Healer's Hawk. Let's do that. Let's sacrifice you. Kill that Healer's Hawk, and then we can attack for 6 this turn. Very nice. So we're looking at a Gruesome Menagerie if things get hairy. Unfortunately, this is a deck that's probably going to want to play Conclave Tribunal instead of, like, destroy spells, because this is white and green. They don't really have that in those colors. So Gruesome Menagerie may not do us a whole lot of good. Okay, Saproling Migration. They're gaining a lot of life. That's bad. Okay. So what we can do here is play Footlight Fiend. I mean, we can just attack for 4. They're probably gonna. My guess is they block both, which is pretty lame. So we may want to just attack with Goblin Instigator and then kill their Healer's Hawk with that extra bit of damage, because we don't trigger Judith with the Goblin token dying. And we just lose an attacker that way. Oh, they're not even blocking. Okay, interesting. Yeah, they want to keep their Healer's Hawk alive so they can gain life, which I understand, for sure. And, yep. How much life are they going to be able to gain? They're only going to be able to gain 4 life, so that's not going to trigger this turn. But we're going to have to deal with these attackers pretty quickly. I'm trying to think. So these are indestructible, so there's no use in trying to kill them right now. So I pass the blockers, I no block, take the damage, which is a bummer. They're back to 20. So they may just be able to outpace us with life gain, and we're not. Okay. Well, that's interesting. So what we can do is we can I'm trying to think, how do we want to do this? I can play this at instant speed, so I can see who they block first. So I'm going to go to attackers. So I may want to sacrifice a creature and just kill Resplendent Angel, depending on how this goes down. But if they block my creatures, I may not have to. Okay. Alrighty. And then, so what we can do is, I want to kill Healer's Hawk. But I also want to kill Resplendent Angel, because if they play anything... I think we just end turn and see what comes out here. They don't have enough mana to do anything crazy, so they're going to gain life with that. So we need to go ahead and kill Resplendent Angel before she can make an Angel token. Let's do that. We're going to... Wait. Here we go. Let that resolve, and they're going to gain life, and then we can kill it by... So let's resolve. They gained 4 life, so let's... Vicious Offering... Yeah. We're targeting that. Sacrificing Reassembling Skeleton. We kill Knight of Autumn. And then we'll just put our Reassembling Skeleton back on the field. Unfortunately, it comes in tapped, which is pretty lame, but it's a reasonable restriction. It would be kind of broken if it didn't come in tapped, because you could just block with it constantly. Okay. So that's a thing. It's a very good thing. So again, we're going to go to combat, and we're just going to attack with everybody right here. And we need to get rid of this Healer's Hawk, because it's getting him 2 life every turn, which is a lot. That's too much. Too much. Okay, so they blocked that, and they blocked that. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Kill that. Oh no, that was dumb. That was definitely dumb. I should have saved that for whatever comes out this turn. If anything spicy comes out of their hand. I don't know what they have. History of Benalia. That's kind of spicy. It's not too bad, though. It's not terrible. Okay. Yeah, let's go to my turn. We're not going to use that. Okay. Hide Poisoner is actually quite good. So we're going to go ahead and go to attack. Okay, interesting block there. Go to damage. Deal 1 damage to the opponent, and another damage to the opponent. And then, so we do have a 2-creature Gruesome Menagerie, but I don't think we need to play that this turn. What I think maybe we can do is... Ooh. I need to be more willing to let my Judith die so that I can make use of this Gruesome Menagerie to its full potential. Okay, we'll go to my turn. I'm gonna attack all. And they definitely... Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. They definitely block Judith. And that's it. And that is just fine. So we're gonna deal 1 damage to you. And then play Gruesome Menagerie. And get everybody back. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. And we make a token. Perfect. Now we've got a full board of blockers. And it looks like they're starting to kind of peter out. And I know... I don't think this kind of deck would play a board wipe, so I'm going to go ahead and play my Footlight Fiend as another threatening blocker. Because this guy is a 4/3 now. Tristani Discordant. That's not good, because these are stronger and they make a bunch of creatures and gain a bunch of life. That's bad. It's actually quite bad. So we need to get rid of her. Okay, well, I'm blocking like so, and that's going to die. Bonk. Ho-ho-ho! Haha, Plaguecrafter. Okay, I think I go to combat first. I attack with everyone first and see how they respond. We're gonna attack all. Of course, they're gonna gain life from this damage, but we want enough of our creatures to die for them. Okay, that's pretty fine. Yeah, okay, here's what was going to happen. So we deal some damage. They don't block with those. So we get to deal 1 damage to you. And then we play Plaguecrafter. We sacrifice our Reassembling Skeleton. And then we get to deal another damage to Tristani. Interesting choice, sacking that. And then we can play our Reassembling Skeleton back out. And they're left with 1 creature token on the field and no cards in hand. And there's the conceit. Okay. That's how the deck works. It's not terrible. It's not amazing. It's not amazing. We played a little slow there, and I never really felt like I had like a full hand of cards after like the first turn, because we're playing so many small creatures. You can play them all out really fast, and then you kind of lose speed. But since we were able to pretty much remove every threat they put on the field that time, things worked out really well. And that's kind of why I like Judith, is because her damage is very versatile, and you can just kind of spread damage out. Like if they're playing creature tokens and small things like that person was, we were able to get rid of them real easily. Okay, so we've got a turn 1 Fanatical Firebrand. Opponent goes first, which is a bummer. We always like to go first. They play Gutter Bones. I freaking hate Gutter Bones, man. That's lame. Okay, I think I play Fanatical Firebrand and just kill their Gutter Bones. This is a good option for this deck, actually. Gutter Bones is really nice, because it's a 2/1. So he already deals a lot of damage, but you can bring him back to your hand very easily. Okay. Priest of Forgotten Gods is a threat, but I don't think we need to be too worried about it right now. Maybe we are, because if they could play out 2 like Footlight Fiends next turn, they can tap her to gain or make us lose life, and then gain more mana. And then they can bring back their Gutter Bones. So I'm going to go ahead and play Vicious Offering on that, because that's a threat, especially in the mid game. So let's go ahead and get rid of it. Okay, Rakdos 306. What do you have for me now? Is this mono black? Usually you see, okay, it's mono black skeletons and zombies. Very interesting. Yeah, we'll play this and then do a little Footlight Fiend and pass. We do have 2 Skewer the Critics in hand. This is unfortunate that we have so many non-creature spells in hand. We don't like that. I have to take 3 here, but I can... Oh, this is pretty spicy. Okay, so we're going to Costly Plunder, sacrifice our Footlight Fiend, and we can deal the damage to the opponent, which makes these able to be cast for their spectacle cost. And we can kill both of those. And I'm being this aggressive with my removal instead of dealing damage to the face, because I know that that Death Baron is very important to the opponent's getting damage out, because they play a lot of smaller creatures like small skeleton warriors and Reassembling Skeleton and Gravediggers, and which they bring back their Death Baron, probably. Yep. That's not the end of the world. It's not good, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, we're going to play Judith, and then Fireblade Artist, I could attack in, but they're definitely going to block with Gravedigger. I'd probably just attack in anyway. Oh, the problem though is that if I oh, they're playing Golgari, huh? Interesting, not mono black. If I attack in, I'm not going to want to block with my Judith, so they will be able to deal damage to me next turn and then bring back the Gutterbones to their hand, which we don't want them to do. So I may just hold up Fireblade Artist as a blocker because it's probably going to have the same effect either way. Okay, Foul Orchard. There's a Death Baron. Good thing we've got a 3/3 blocker. 3/2 blocker. So we do that. Unfortunately, we can't deal 2 damage to Death Baron, so we'll deal 1 to the opponent. And then I'm going to go ahead and Bedevil this homeboy right here, and then get in 2 damage on the opponent. So we're out of cards officially, and that's bad. That's bad to be out of cards this early in the game. It is, I guess, turn 5, 6. No, turn 6. So we're flooding a touch. We're flooding a touch, which feels bad because the most expensive card we have is a 5-drop, and we never really end up playing it on turn 5. We'd much rather play it way later if we're playing against control. But right now I have nothing. So Poison Tip Archer and you. Okay, so, well, we can get rid of... This is a bit of an issue because Poison Tip Archer deals us damage whenever another creature dies. So we'll pass the turn. Did I just kick my camera over? No, we're good. Sometimes I feel like I'm pulling on the cord for my webcam. Do we let this come back in? Because they're probably gonna sack it with Priest of Forgotten Gods, forcing us to sacrifice a creature. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna take damage from this, but I'm gonna kill Priest of Forgotten Gods before she can use her ability and force me to sacrifice a creature. And then they play Gutterbones. So they kind of own the field right now, and we don't block this because we don't want to lose our Judith. Plaguecrafter, you say? Whew, that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate because they can just sack their Reassembling Skeleton and get it back immediately. So this does us absolutely no good. Except that we can kill their Gutterbones with the damage from... Huh, we could do that. Let's see. Okay, so let's do this. Let's try this out. We're going to play the Plaguecrafter, sacrifice the Plaguecrafter. Yeah, and then we deal 1 damage to Gutterbones. We're losing a ton of life from this, and this is a terrible deck for us to be playing against because our deck relies on us just killing creatures, our own creatures really, and then killing the opponents. And they're just killing us by default with this passive ability. So this is a pretty terrible matchup. Weird matchup. I don't see this being played a whole lot. So I'm actually going to block this because I can kill the Poison Tip Archer and stop that trigger from happening constantly. Unfortunately, they can bring back the Gutterbones now and play him immediately. And all we got is a Skewer the Critics. So we will get rid of Gutterbones. Again. Doesn't do us a whole lot of good, but it slows them down. It's not looking good for us this game, folks. It is not looking good. Another Poison Tip Archer. Ah! I hate that. Reassembling Skeleton. Yay! They kill us every time we block. This is actually very bad. This is a terrible, terrible matchup. In comes Gutterbones, and they attack with both, and I block Is it even worth it to block the Reassembling Skeleton? It basically has the same effect. Yeah, it has the same effect if I block him or if I don't. No. It's worse if I block him because then 2 creatures are dying. Yeah, no, I don't block. I don't block anything. This is horrible. Hey, that's good though. Okay, we actually might have a chance here. Because here we go. We're going to Gruesome Menagerie, bring back Judith, bring back Fireblade, bring back Fanatical Firebrand, and then we're just gonna attack them. I think we still are gonna lose. I think we don't attack with Reassembling Skeleton. We definitely attack with Fireblade Artist. I'm trying to figure out what do I need to do to not die next turn. So I'm gonna take probably I can block the Reassembling Skeleton with Judith. I'm going to take 2 from Gutter Bones, and if I block Poison Tip Archer with a 2/1, I can kill it. So I think I do attack with Fanatical Firebrand as well, and hold up Reassembling Skeleton as a blocker for Poison Tip. So we actually have a chance. I was considering scooping that game up. Oh, speaking of having a chance. Okay, well this is a dumb attack phase, but how much... I go to 1, I think, here. I think I go to 1. So this is going to be 2. This is going to be another 1 because of Reassembling Skeleton. And then this is going to be another 1. So yeah, I go to 2. Or no, I go to 1. Because of Poison Tip Archer. But I do get to kill Poison Tip Archer. Sadly, I don't have the mana to bring back. Dang. I don't think... Well, sacrificing Fanatical Firebrand has the same effect as if I attacked with Fanatical Firebrand. So I'm going to sacrifice him anyway. Deal 2. That's terrible. So I lose now, but I thought we might have had something going there. I'm going to attack for fun and then concede. Because we can only deal max of 3 damage right here. Yeah, we can deal 3 because Fireblade Artist will die. We deal 1 to the opponent, and then we concede because we don't have blockers for Ghalta Primal Hunger. Oh, we nearly had it there. Gruesome Menagerie almost saved us. It almost did. We just couldn't keep up with that damage that Poison Tip Archer was dealing all game. Every time one of my creatures died, which is normally what we want. We couldn't be doing that because of Death Touch Boy Archer Man. I don't even know anymore what's happening. Mr. Bragslaw, Gideon Jura. Okay, we cannot keep this hand because we have no red mana, and we want to play Fanatical Firebrand. So we have to mulligan. There's a Mountain, a Hired Poisoner, Goblin Instigator. Okay, this is a better hand. And we'll keep the Plaguecrafter on tap. We can play a Hired Poisoner into Goblin Instigator. So this is a good start. Good thing the opponent doesn't have anything to play yet. Okay, Azorius. And again, they've got nothing. A whole lot of nothing. We go ahead and I think play Goblin Instigator. Yeah. I was wondering whether they had a counterspell there. Like, does anyone run Quench? I see Quench being played. Quench is a 2-mana counterspell. It's a counter target spell unless Deputy Detention. Unless opponent pays 1 life or whatever. Okay, this is actually good. We can go ahead and just play our Plaguecrafter, sacrifice the... We'll probably sacrifice at this point, the Goblin Token. Because we wouldn't ping Judith's ability with that anyway. And then we hope they don't have another Deputy of Detention. Beanalish Marshal, you say? Okay, well that's interesting. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to attack with Hired Poisoner and Plaguecrafter. They're probably not going to block because they want to keep their Beanalish Marshal alive. And then we can Skewer the Critics, their Marshal, and my guess is they concede. If I had to guess what was going to happen, I would say they concede. And I'm going to not play my Footlight Fiend yet, just because I'm a little worried. Because they're playing Deputy of Detention, I'm a little worried they would play, like, Cleansing Nova or something in this deck. Like, this is a weird, like, mid-rangey, control-y kind of deck. This makes me think control, but this is, like, aggro or mid-range. Maybe this is just super janky, whatever they're playing. I don't know. Okay, Conclave Tribunal on my... Please take my Plaguecrafter. Okay. If I had a way to get rid of their Conclave Tribunal, I would get this ability again, so whatever. Yep, Judith, and now I'm dealing 6 damage this turn. Boop, boop, boop. And we'll play the Footlight Fiend now. My guess is they play another Conclave Tribunal on the Judith the Scourge Diva. If they have one, they might not, of course. Johnny. I just had to check their graveyard because his -2 returns a target creature card for a mana cost 2 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield, and I did not want that. So I win next turn. I just win. Is that right? Yes, I just win. Even if they block Judith, I still win. Yeah. Sorry, broski. Sorry, Bragg's Law. You toast, bruh. And we were able to get another victory. Yes, thank you. Okay, and that is gonna do it for this deck. It was pretty good. It's sometimes frustrating to play because you feel like you are running out of steam really fast, and sometimes you are. But that is just the nature of the beast. Take a look at this bad boy. I'm gonna put the deck list down below, and I will put timestamps for all the matches in the description of the video as well. Again, thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot to me that you would take a couple minutes of your day to watch one of my videos. Very cool of you. If you enjoyed this, drop a like on the video. If you want to see more from me, hit subscribe. Comment with whatever decks you want to see me play next. Again, I will be doing a Rakdos series, so I'm going to do several videos in a row where I'm just doing Rakdos decks. But that is all, folks. Get on out of here. Be gone. Get out.